So I'm just gonna let the stream run. So if you guys want to just hang out and talk, like, watch us bitch about Rangers and whatever,
you're welcome to.
You're welcome to do that. So I just wanted to give you guys the formal, Lost Minds of Fandelver playthrough has completed. Feel free to stick around and discuss Dungeons and Dragons with us. Sword Coast Adventurers Guide.
Beautiful thing.
So,
the art.
Yeah, that's why I really like one of the reasons I really like the Warlock Witch Hunter is the same reason.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, but you said, I think I misunderstood what you said about Bladesinger. So why don't you touch on that again? What you had said.
Because Bladesingers don't they have the ability where they get to attacks, but don't they have the thing where they get an attack or a cantrip and then a bonus action attack?
No, they don't.
They don't get that?
No.
Then never mind what I was saying.
You can do a cantrip and a bonus action spell.
Okay,
that was what I was misunderstanding.
Okay, yeah, so I misspoke, but I thought they could do a cantrip and a bonus action attack, in which case you're getting free attacks.
Yes, no, that is not the case.
That's why I really like the
Witch Hunter.
Yeah, the Warlock Witch Hunter, because they only ever get 2 attacks and they have that ability.
Yeah.
So you could do Green Flame Blade, do extra damage with your melee attack, deal extra fire damage over here, then just do a second attack.
Yeah, I had built out my. I was still gonna go Ghost Slayer Witch Hunter, but I had built out a variant human Witch Hunter. I was gonna use. He was gonna use the variant human feature to get heavy armor proficiency. Mm-hmm. Since James was gonna let us have an uncommon magic item, I was gonna use that to get adamantine plate.
Okay.
And then have 18 AC at the start.
Yeah.
I don't think they don't get a fighting style.
I don't think so.
No, but I'd be immune to crits.
Yeah.
And I was going to take a greatsword. So, 2d6, green flame blade.
Plus 4.
Plus another 2d6.
Yeah. That'd be sick.
Okay. So, a couple of questions here. So, Ikashibi here's been blowing up the chat with all comments. So, we're going to continue on this. I agree with your comments about how Rangers using the Animal Companion using your action is ridiculous.
Yes.
I would point you, just to give me a little self-promotion here, because why not, on nerdimmersion.com, I forget the exact link to it, but it's on there if you search. I did my own version of a homebrew Ranger fix, so you can check that out if you want. Witch Hunter, though, if you're not familiar, there's another show on YouTube called Critical Role, which is done by Matthew Mercer as part of the Geek and Sundry channel. And Matthew Mercer is a video game voice actor. He has several other video game voice actors, and Jessica Chobot, who seems like kind of out of left field to fit in with the rest of them. But they do a live playthrough of D&D, and it's obviously very story heavy and voice acted and everything. They had Vin Diesel on there. They called it D&Diesel. And the whole movie that Vin Diesel just came out with, The Last Witch Hunter, that whole movie is based on a character that he played in Dungeons and Dragons because he's a huge D&D nerd. So, to get prepped for that game, Matthew Mercer, the DM, he designed a class called the Witch Hunter based on the kind of... It's kind of based on the D&D, or his D&D character in the movie, also sort of based on The Witcher, The Witcher 3, because like the Alchemist one has kind of a very Witcher feel to it.
The Witcher 3 is awesome.
Like there's one of the archetypes for the Witch Hunter is you drink these potions and they give you a negative side effect, but they also give you a bonus. Like it might be like your Constitution goes up by 2, but your Dex goes down by 2 or something like that.
Right. Or like you're resistant to bludgeoning damage, but you're vulnerable to piercing damage.
That's cool. There is, if you look...
I like the one, there's one that I really like that's you're resistant to cold damage, but your movement speed goes down by 10.
And I think their 15th level Witch Hunter ability is you can imbibe up to 2, maybe 3 of those things, and the 15th level one is you can choose to ignore the side effect of 1.
That's pretty cool too.
But yeah, if you search D&D 5e Witch Hunter, it'll probably take you to the Geek and Sundry page where you can download the PDF of that.
And some of it was really cool.
And it's good. Everybody I've spoken to about it in the D&D community online and otherwise, everybody likes it from what, at least, I mean, I know there's people that don't. I'm sure there is. There has to be. But the people that I've talked to in the circles I run in do like it, and they think that it's balanced enough that it can make it, that could theoretically be a canonical class, and it wouldn't be game-breaking. It's powerful, but I don't think it's more powerful than any other class with a lot of options.
Yeah.
Like,
Be a gunslinger.
I mean, Paladin is my go-to for a class that it can be, depending on how it's played and the features that it has, it can be ridiculous. But, I mean, you know, a wizard of equal level to a paladin will win every time.
Attack damage from spells.
True, but
Shield Master, 0 damage from spells.
only if it's a dex save.
Which is a good number of
True,
spells.
but I mean, like, there's ways
Like
around
roll.
that. I mean,
Well, neither here nor there.
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I recommend checking out the Witch Hunter.
Yes.
It has some really cool stuff. One of its archetypes is like half warlock instead of Eldritch Knight fighter, which is like a half wizard. This one's like a half warlock. It's cool.
Which is interesting because warlock in and of itself is fairly limited in the spell use. So this is even more so.
Yeah. So
But it is good because
I think-
there is good. I think you get 2 spell slots maybe.
I think so. I think it's like 2 spell slots, and your max level is like 3rd level, but it has some other cool stuff that goes along with it.
Again, Ikashibi mentioned first character is a warlock. I love warlocks. I think it's a great class.
Yeah, super cool.
Nice,
The-
powerful, ranged attacks.
They added a new in the Sword Coast Adventures Guide, which is what Jake is reading right there. There is a new warlock archetype, and that is officially canon because it's in a book. That's honestly the only way to count anything as canon as far as Wizards of the Coast goes so far is if it's printed in a textbook, pretty much, or an official PDF from them, then it is considered canon. They release once a month, towards the beginning of the month, they release an article called Unearthed Arcana, which is experimental playtest options for characters. They're not Adventure League legal. Most DMs, I find, allow you to use that because it's Wizards of the Coast. But the other part of it is Wizards wants people to play those, to play test them, to give feedback, whether it's too powerful, too weak, etc. So if you're playing a Warlock, I would highly recommend the Unearthed Arcana article that came out yesterday.
Yes.
Has an angelic patron Warlock that does a lot of radiant damage, actually gets some healing in the later levels.
Yep.
And basically has I go down to 0 and I jump back up with half health and do a radiant explosion around me, deal extra damage. It's pretty cool.
30 feet in every direction.
And it's only hostiles.
It's real good.
So, again, not to self-promote because I don't like to do that, but I don't.
He doesn't.
Fucking guy. Anyway, every Friday / Saturday, maybe Sunday, but I try to do it every Friday. I do a D&D update video. This one is probably going to come out on Sunday because I'm going to be at a convention this weekend, or else I'd do it early. But I do an update where I go through basically all of the news, Wizards of Coast official, fan-related news, fan campaigns, Kickstarters, blah, blah, blah. It's usually around 15 minutes to a half an hour every week where I just kind of go over what's new in D&D for that week. Just because there seems to be more so than there has been in any other edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Like, there's stuff coming out all the time.
Which is cool.
What's most helpful with creating your characters' backstories if you find that important, that enjoyable?
What?
Funny, you missed that. We had a long conversation before we actually started playing about a game that I've been obsessing over. That's not even going to start playing till January. As far as, well, let me ask you guys. I'll poll you guys first before I keep talking all this time.
Just need a character with a good story. You just, you start with one little fact about him and then you snowball it out. It's
Sadly, I've found that in most of my playthroughs,
Backstory doesn't really matter.
It doesn't, because eventually, no matter what you do, no matter what you try and incorporate, eventually you just kind of, all the players seem to just settle into their personality. Even if you start off being like, no, like, I'm going to be like really quiet in this game. Like, I'm going to be stoic, I'm going to, one word maximum. Everyone else in the party is being a dick, so you have to speak up. Or, you know, I'm going to be,
That's how it goes.
I love making up backstories. I love telling stories. I love all that stuff, and sadly, it just seems to everyone turns into themselves eventually. But
Yes. So you model
if you're making a backstory and you want to do it something fun, make it something that you enjoy. Like, make it a story that you're gonna like to tell.
Yeah.
Because that's the
it's your
the
character.
best. Yeah, the
You
best.
should fall in love with them.
Sure. Yeah.
Not like
Like,
weirdly.
no, not like in a creepy way, like with a painting and a mural and stuff. Again, and just like, you know, make it a story that you're gonna want to tell, because that's the best scenario. The best case scenario for your character's backstory is you get to tell it.
Yeah. Again,
Right.
if I have the time,
Half work, he's got it pretty good.
I like
backstory.
to over prepare my story, and honestly, I like to do it a lot as almost a credit
Fingers cut off.
or
But he was in the slave army.
a way to
and they
prepare
didn't want
it
anybody-
for the
They
DM.
wanted to promote solidarity, so they cut off the fingers, so they have to use shields and swords. But finally, he won his freedom. That's why he had a, you know, he won't ever fight in an arena though. 'Cause he doesn't like fight in Mortal Kombat unless he has to. So, you know, he won't get into like
that's
bar
only
fights, stuff like
once every
that.
generation Mortal Kombat rolls around.
Yeah.
Like when the Raven shows up.
Sure.
As long as I feel like that's the only thing you gotta do once.
That's okay. He had a 24 armor class, so he
Yeah,
could
he
just
was
not
pretty
get hit.
It's pretty legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like when I build a character, I like to try to build in adventure hook stuff for the DM, because I mean, I've been on both sides of that, but if you really need to push the players along, like they're stagnating and you want to just move them on, and you don't, as a DM, you don't have any canonical way to do that without just being like, fuck it, you guys are here now because I said so, because I want to actually play the game.
Right.
If I have a character that has some sort of driving factor or something to do with their backstory, that the DM can be like, oh, and while you guys are arguing over fucking, I don't care, whatever, in the tavern, so-and-so shows up from so-and-so's background and says, hey, listen, sorry to interrupt, I know you guys are really busy, you know,
Dicking
with
around.
this, but we really need you to come back home because stuff's going down. And again, this is all a function of the party that you're playing with, but like, I would be like, again, yeah, guys, I gotta go, like, they need me.
This is my family. Or,
Like,
or
you guys don't
friends.
have to come, and I know with certain groups that I play with, if I said that, they'd be like, alright, later, and I'd be like, oh, well, now I guess we're playing two games.
Yeah.
The game where you guys sit here in the tavern and gamble, and the game where I go do the actual freaking adventure.
Yeah, like in our last campaign.
Campaign.
In our last campaign. In our last campaign, where they were all, where one of them passed out and woke up in a pigsty. May or may not have fucked a pig, we don't know.
Probably.
And you went on a vengeance spree to find your mother.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, just
In-game.
again, high level stuff for just a high level description of that. We played through Horde of the Dragon Queen, Rise of Tiamat. Not going to spoil that story if that's something you're going to do, because it's fun, lethal, and kind of annoying from a DM perspective, but fun.
Yeah.
And I built into my story that how my character had this tragic backstory of, you know, his entire homeland was destroyed by a dragon, and
Makes sense.
he had this vendetta to not let that happen to anybody and anyone else again. And one of the first things that happened to him in one of the first games he was in was he was trying to help a newfound friend get their money back because they got pickpocketed. And in doing so, like, went to go find the people that did the pickpocketing, came back, and the town they were just in was destroyed, decimated by dragon cultists.
Oh.
So, like, that's, and like the people that we liked in the town,
Wasn't so bad.
Well, he was gonna.
He wasn't much.
they were
of a
kidnapped.
pig, yeah.
He was
So
gonna dress and kill
that
him.
was our driving factor, was to get the people that we did know back. And then, like, after that happened, like, pretty much everybody else checked out, I'm gonna say. Like they were just kind of going through the motions because they wanted to play D&D, but not really. And like my character had this thing to find out who destroyed his homeland, figured out that it was his mother who did that. She was with the dragon and destroyed his homeland with him in the forest.
Not a good person.
And that was his goal, was to like, I'm gonna get her, and I'm gonna I'm not gonna let her do this again. I'm gonna kill her. That's my whole goal. Oh, and that pushed us through. And that at least pushed me through 90% of that campaign, was getting to that point. And then I got there, and I was like, I'm already so invested in this. I took out my mom. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I'm going for Tiamat. And then like, I don't know. It was me and Sean playing a game, and 5 other people at the table just like rolling damage is what it felt like to me. And I don't want to. And like, if you guys happen to ever watch, I'm sorry that I said that, but let's face it, we know it's true. It was a Ted and Sean game, and damage and carousing.
We loved carousing.
Carousing's fun. I like playing games.
The game is also fun.
Yeah, there's stories waiting to happen. That's the worst thing about DMing, is when you're like, I got this cool story, and you're just gonna get high on opium, which you decided to buy with 100 gold and then use all of in one go. So you're not doing anything, and now you're going, I had a character do that.
You can't find your feet.
That's what Pat's character did. He decided, they went to a town, and the first thing he did, was like, hey, I'm going to go find some drugs. And I was like, all right, well, you find Poppy. And he's like, great, how much can I buy? And I'm like, how much you got? And he's like, what's 100 going to get you? And I'm like, 100 gold's going to get you a lot.
That's a lot of Poppy.
He's like, great, I'm going to use it all. I was like, well, first off, roll me Constitution to see if you overdose. And he didn't, but he couldn't do anything for like 3 days. And now he has opium withdrawal whenever I feel like he's being a jerk.
I like that game mechanic.
Yeah. It's like,
and you're shaking and vomiting, so shut up for a while.
Yeah, that's right. You're hallucinating right now, quietly in the corner.
But
yeah. So yeah, backstories are fun.
Yeah,
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. Like, again, I spent about 15 minutes I made this guy, like you guys can see it, but this guy, for this game that starts in January. And like, I've come up with pretty much his entire backstory. I tied his personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws from that mechanic into the way he actually will be played. I named his sword. I came up with
which is just going to get abandoned immediately once he gets a magic one.
Well, this is magic.
Oh, that's right.
It gives me advantage on initiative checks, and anybody within 30 feet of me can't be surprised that I choose.
Wow.
So it gives basically...
My character is going to be a pretty lady who is
going to be within 30 feet of you.
Yeah. So like that's like I went for that because now I don't have to take alert as a feat.
Right.
I basically have. I don't have +5 to my initiative, but I named the sword. I named his familiar. I tied the familiar into this. I came up with this whole bounty hunter backstory. I put myself as an enemy of one of the 5 factions, so that there's always a hook for we need something to fight. Oh, the Zenitrim hate me. I left them and they disavowed me.
And now they've paid someone else to bounty hunt you.
Right, exactly. That can work. I can...
You? You to bounty hunt them.
I mean,
you're gonna be a rogue. Of course I'm going to be part of the Zenitrim.
You'd be a Harper. They're sneaky.
You guys could start your own secret organization.
We can. We call it the Cool Kids Club.
I mean, we already got freaking Whistler back at the place.
CKC?
Yeah. Oh, no, we'll just spell cool with a K. The Cool Kids Club.
The
KKK. No, club will be with a K.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so we, so I built this whole story, and, I don't even know if it's ever going to come up at all.
Probably won't.
Makes you like your character a lot.
It makes me love this character. I'm at the point now where I'm bored. I'm thinking about the kind of thing I described to you guys very quickly, writing that out as a full story, what happened before then, what happened now, and then we'll see what happens when the game actually starts. But that's something maybe to check with your DM. is it going to be is it going to be a combat heavy game or a role play heavy game? If it's a very RP heavy game, then that might come into play. Yeah. And I find that that's always a tough decision as a DM and as a player. Because me personally, as a player, I like the role play side of things better. I like finding magic items and I like doing a lot of damage, because who doesn't? But I like the storytelling aspect of things. You know, like if I got into one combat encounter per session, and like let's say a session's 4 hours, one combat encounter, and the rest was just like role playing, like we're in a city and like it's just doing shit around the city, trying to figure out, making contacts, talking to this person, doing this, and then like it culminates in like a street fight at the end. That's a perfect game for me. Some of my friends though, they'd rather be like combat, carousing.
Combat, magic item. Carousing.
Yes, carousing. Yeah, and it's like,
can I sell this magic item? It's like, probably not.
The problem I have with
buy it.
And I mean, it's no secret, everybody knows it, but like RP and overland travel can be things that take days, and it takes 5 minutes in game, and a combat that takes 5 minutes takes 3 hours. No. And it's, you know, you run into, I mean, again, this is a function of players and things like that, of, you know, who's paying attention, who's on their phone,
who's sober.
Sober is a big thing.
It's a big thing.
I've got a warlock who's like on point if he's sober, and then just like a mess if he's drunk.
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
That guy was nice to you. You shouldn't have Eldritch Blasted.
Yeah, I had a guy.
He's dead now.
Ended up losing, like, they lost a whole story hook because the guys were like, our dwarven camp got attacked and we think our king's dead. And he's like, well, I could go there and kill your king. And the dwarves were like, fuck you.
No.
And then they got into a fight and killed all the dwarves and then just like went on a rampage. And I was like, all right, well,
there goes that.
There goes that story. I didn't spend time planning that or anything.
No big deal.
Kashibi says, oh wait, I forgot the hex. Eldritch Blast.
But true.
Well, we had a similar situation. We had several similar situations in our last campaign. Turns out, again, like I texted you, comprehend language means you can only understand it.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't speak it back.
Ah.
Tongues let you speak any language. So he could have understood everything that guy said, but could not have iterated any of it back.
No, but...
Didn't matter, because he killed him.
You still could have killed him.
Oh.
Yeah. We don't think you're worthy. We're going to put up a champion, and you put up a champion. And, you know, if you beat our champion, you're considered worthy. And then we'll help you. And he took that, he was also 13 beers deep.
Yeah.
And took that as a slight. And said, yeah, buddy, I hear you. Eldritch Blast. And killed the guy. And then, like, the rest of us don't understand no one can speak the language. So all we see is, like, this conversation end in him killing this guy. So we all jump in. And for lack of knowledge of what happened, slaughtered an entire helpless village.
Yeah.
All based on that one guy's call. Who, up until that point, had been very, very rational.
An entire indigenous people is slaughtered. Because
There was a drunk guy.
Because Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't feel like at the time I was like, oh, this is not cool, but like my character didn't know any better.
Yeah.
This guy's always been trustworthy, and like the only other person I could look to try to help me get through stuff, and he just murdered this guy out of nowhere. So I'm like, well, this guy's got to be bad.
Must have done something.
Let's get in on it.
Yeah, that's all you can do at that point. If your murderous hobo friends start murdering people, you gotta jump in. Or you can just stand there and be like, shake my hand.
I think at first I just used like aura generating spells to like buff everybody up and not attack.
Right.
And then they started attacking me, and I was like, well,
now you gotta
I gotta fight back.
This was a huge mistake. You guys are dead.
I mean, I thought fighting a dragon with 2 4-level characters, fighting a young adult green dragon was a mistake, but hey.
No, it wasn't.
Turns
out that's almost 2,000 experience apiece.
NBD.
And a magic item.
Yeah. And some scrolls, which was nice.
I can't cast any of those spells.
I can cast Misty Step. Next level.
You take that scroll.
I already did, actually.
Nice.
Wasn't even being like sneaky about it.
No. Just
You were like, hey, look, it's Misty Step. I was like, cool, thanks.
yoink.
Put that in my pocket. You have pockets, right? I imagine they invented pockets.
They invented hairy sweaters. I'm pretty sure
Hairy
they
sweater.
invented.
Did you hear the whole thing with the mouse and the messy eating?
Oh, yeah.
Were you here for that?
I've got a pet mouse because
Is it
of
Archie?
my background. So I'm a terrible eater.
Yes.
So he lives in my itchy sweater and he eats the scraps out of it, keeps me clean.
It's a great idea.
I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know. He doesn't have a name or anything. He just lives in there, and then
Hashtag
decided to kill him.
background.
There you go. Battery operated flickering candles for session mood setting / giggles.
Oh no,
Yes
we
or
have a
no?
can of spiders for mood setting.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on your group. I think it's cool. Personally, I would love, obviously not in this house, but in the next house to have like a more RP, because I have my man
dungeon.
cave and we've tried playing down there before, but just the table isn't big enough to get enough people around. Like this dining room table, there's even another leaf that goes in this table. You make it even bigger. You just need the space. So yeah, I mean, like if I could set up also if I had a group that was like D&D players, like that I could get people in and I could have the faux stonework and torch sconces. I mean, I have sconces, fake torches to go downstairs because I don't have light bulbs, so I have toy torches that you can use to go down the stairs.
It's dangerous to go along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think battle music. I've tried doing that in the past before, low background music, fantasy themed music for things.
Yeah, that works nice.
Mood lighting is okay as long as you don't get people too dark and it's tiring. And you can't read your sheets.
Yeah, that would be my only caution is function over form.
Right.
You gotta be able to read your character sheet.
Yeah, having enough room to play is big because everybody's got at least
A book or at least a character sheet.
Yeah, so you usually gotta have at least 2 page widths for each player
Right.
to fit comfortably.
Swagman 942 blah 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 numbers. Do you ever play 3.5e? That was all I played from 2004 to 2014 was all I played was 3.5. And I personally, being the player that I am, I love 3.5. I could theory craft classes and backgrounds and templates and weird monster races and magic items for hours.
Yep.
I knew page numbers in that. I'd be like, nope, that's magic item compendium, page 325. That's where, the brooch of shielding or whatever it is, brooch of stability is or whatever. I love 3.5. And that's, I think, why I like 5e so much, because it sort of distilled all of the bloat that there was in 3.5 into a more consumable for the general public edition, with a little bit of the optimization stuff of 4e, but not too much. Personally, I've thought in building characters for 5e, I've gone back and thought shit, man, that would be a freaking awesome character. A water genasi dragonborn, dread necromancer would be sweet. But I don't have anybody to play 3.5 with. So, I mean, yeah, I would, and then you hit me with, what is your favorite character that I used in 3.5?
Oh my god.
I used so many characters in 3.5.
Yeah.
And mostly that was a function of my one DM being just a dick.
Killing
Hedge,
everybody.
you might actually watch this, so Hedge, this is for you.
Sorry, name Hedge.
We 5 or 6 characters each in that campaign because we kept dying.
Yeah.
As far as favorite character, my favorite character had to be the archer that I had towards the end there.
That was really good.
Actually, my Hexblade was probably my favorite character, but he took it away from me. So, my archer.
Your archer was real good.
I'm real salty about the Hexblade.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
I had built a halfling cloistered cleric of the travel domain. What the hell was it? It's the scout ranger combo. Was it swift ambusher? with that feat, and it would. So the feat allowed skirmish damage and favored enemy damage to progress together as you took different levels in both. So every round I could move 20 feet using the swift action from travel domain, and then I could shoot 4 arrows, I think, from my bow. Each shot did a D10 plus my strength. Yeah, plus my strength mod. I think I had a feat that let it do my dex damage, and it did an additional 4d10 or d12 or whatever it was for skirmish damage per arrow. Wow. And if it was my favorite enemy, it did extra damage. And I was trying my hardest to get a splitting bow, which allowed each shot to split into 2 more to do it the same damage. Damage just calculated double, basically.
But so you're pulling out 200 damage rounds.
Yeah, I was just lighting people up.
Yeah, there's
and
no
I had
fighting you
improved evasion, and you're doing this at 100 plus feet away. Actually, skirmish I had to be within 60 feet to do skirmish damage. So that was probably
up around your feet. Monsters emerge.
So that was a really
the
good
only way to fight.
I was already dead.
Yeah, he was dead at that point. That was one of my favorite classes. I super loved my Hexblade because of all the, which actually is very similar to the, funny enough, the Shadow Warlock, Shadow Sorcerer. It's close. The Ill Omen Hound that you can summon as a 5e Shadow Sorcerer. It uses the stats of a direwolf. You can only target one target, and it moves directly to that target and attacks them using direwolf statistics. But any creature that's within 5 feet of it has disadvantage to your saving throws for your sorcerer spells.
Okay.
And that was basically what the curse. You could choose to forego something to get a dark companion as a hexblade, which was basically an ethereal thing that couldn't be attacked, but it was basically your curse manifested in this shadow panther that would just it was just an aura of just awful luck, and you just put it around people and it would lower their AC, their saves, all that stuff. So that was awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
I haven't played yet, but I love my goblin druid named Thorn Rakash. I love kobolds as a thing, my favorite race. Kobold sorcerers, favorite, love it. What is your least favorite class and race? In 5e, it's any ranger.
Rangers.
In
Poor bastards.
Yeah, in 3-5.
Dragonborn. They suck too.
Yeah, Dragonborn. 5e Dragonborn Ranger.
That's what my mom plays as. Dragonborn Ranger.
Oh.
She does. She actually does good damage though, because she does. She keeps her hunter's mark up, and she's always
that's good.
sure
she's
stays
keeping her
on,
spells up and stuff.
Yeah,
that's great.
On Colossus Slayer, she uses it. She's only attacking people who already have damage, so she does okay.
All right. Least favorite race in 3.5 half elf because it sucks.
Yeah.
And class. Vanilla fighter, I guess.
Monk.
Oh, monk. Yes, because monk is awful. They need every stat, and they flurry of blows. You can't move.
Yeah.
If you use flurry of blows. So 3.5 would be a half elf monk.
Half elf monk. And
5e would be a Dragonborn Ranger.
Yeah.
Man, it's so bad. I've put in the stuff that I've talked about with the Ranger, people are I'm crying over the fact that there's no Ranger stuff. I haven't even looked at anything else in Sword Coast Adventure Guide. I flipped to Ranger, and all it is fluff stuff about different races
being
Rangers.
Yeah.
And
Drizzt. Warforged in there?
No.
Oh.
Well, we don't have an Eberron book.
Not yet.
And it also, fun fact, interesting, they don't have, all the Unearthed Arcana races only do +1 to one stat, +1 to another, but all of the published races are +2, +1 or +2/+2 or +2/+1/+1.
Yeah.
Why don't they just change that?
My thought is that they think that the other stuff you're getting is worth not getting an extra stat boost, because with Warforged you get a +1 AC. That's awesome. That's worth, for most classes, that's
fighter,
2 to that's 2 to Dex, gets you a +1 in your AC. I think that it's worth it for the Minotaur. Getting a D10 at all times, being able to attack with your horns after a dash.
Sorry, the guy who's asking all about 3.5 Swagman here said, Sunday I was playing Lost Mines of Phandelver. My dad almost was slain by a goblin after he got a critical on his roll, and it was in our first session.
Oh no!
Funny enough,
I don't know what that's like.
if you go back and look at the first episode of Lost Mines of Phandelver, unfortunately I had to cut that because we didn't have the audio on. In our very first game, it was these two here, and they took out 3 of the bandits. Actually, Sean took out 3 of the goblins, rather.
I got surprised.
And the final goblin took them both out.
I didn't even get to draw my sword.
Took them both down to 0 HP. They both passed their death save, so they were stabilized. And the goblin harvested all of their gear, gained 2 fighter levels, and left. So they tracked him down fighting with crowbars and no armor. This is pretty interesting.
Oh, the sorcerer, so.
Yep, this was the first encounter for them too. The very first encounter with the horses and the dead horse in the road. This is exactly what happened to them.
Ugh.
It was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I had a
Almost
great time.
died.
You were dead.
I was dead.
You were dead.
Brought back to life.
Until I let him use shocking grasp to defibrillate him.
It's good.
Clear.
And or prayed to Celeborn. Or found some arcane way to do it. Now.
Yeah.
If we continue to retcon our stories so that you've been here the whole time.
Yeah, I've been here the whole time. It's been
I know.
great.
I just think it's like a slightly different universe.
Yeah.
It's just like a half step off.
Regarding variant human, yes. In my games, I allow variant human. In pretty much every game I think I've come across, it does say it's a variant option, check with your DM, but pretty much everybody that I've spoken to, everybody uses it.
There's no reason not to, and there's no reason to pick human if you don't allow it.
Yeah. +1 to all stats, unless you manage to roll stats and get nothing but odd numbers.
Yeah.
Like, for every single statistic, you had an odd number, and you wanted +1 to all of them. So,
which would be unusual.
Yeah, it would be difficult.
It's probably near impossible, I would say, to get 6 odd numbers on 4d6, dropping the lowest. And then, that's the only way. And then hopefully your rolls are high enough that you would want to have a +1 to all those stats. Like, maybe you rolled nothing but 15s and 17s. And then, you want a +1 to all stats because it's worth giving up everything else.
Yeah, but then again, not a lot of. So there are a lot of classes you can be where you only need 2 or 3 stats. So even in that scenario,
There's not a lot of classes where you need more than 2 or 3.
Yeah. So even in that scenario, you go variant human, bump up 2 of them, take a feat that bumps up the 3rd, and then who cares about these last 3? I don't care. And then
Nobody cares about charisma.
Yeah.
Or
Intelligence. Who needs intelligence?
No one needs intelligence unless you're a wizard.
Or wisdom.
Or Eldritch Knight.
Eldritch Knight or Arcane
Trickster. Because it doesn't do anything else. Everything else has a function for something else that's useful in the game.
Roll for investigation.
Shit.
Yeah.
Can I perceive instead?
No.
Dicks.
Damn.
Dicks on dicks on dicks.
Yeah. No, it's definitely...
Natural 1. So you don't find anything.
You go blind.
Actually, you're lost now.
In the mines of Phandelver.
Oh no! Wait, this is where we were trying to go.
Woo! Alright, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's sleepy time.
it's almost 1 a.m. here, so... Anyway, guys, thank you for those of you who stuck around. Honestly, we probably will do this because this happens every time after we end the game anyway. We just sit here and bullshit about D&D for 2 hours, and then everybody just goes to bed. So, next Tuesday... Right? You guys are good?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Alright, so we'll be here next Tuesday.
You better be.
Damn high school plays.
Yeah. No, yeah. No, it'd be class looking. No.
All right. Well, anyway, guys. Hope you guys have a great night. And we will. Deuces. Yeah.
Deuces.